This year's ISM Middle East show at the Dubai World Trade Center attracted a dynamic range of exhibitors with more than 550 businesses participating this year across sweets, chocolate and candy. We speak to Alex Shandrovsky of California Cultured, the innovative biotech business which is fast making waves. So what did he make of this year's show?
Well, first of all, definitely hot. So when I was thinking about coming to this region, I thought hot, melting, and chocolate. They really don't go together. But what the interesting thing is, but the size of this room, we're talking about rows of chocolate vendors all coming here, which means one thing: there's business to be done in this region, and excited to be here talking about California Cultured.
Absolutely. And in terms of your highlights in the show, you walked the halls. So what has really stood out for you?
Okay, look, there's a few different things that I found to be really interesting. What I found actually hearing from your show is that the focus on snackables. So again, the individual wrapped small pieces for just on-the-go snacking. Again, I thought that would be a very interesting use case. That's one thing. The other application which is very interesting is the use of nuts. So integrating some of the local fruit, so dates, nuts. I thought that was very exciting. So it's the blend of the fruit and the culture locally combined with chocolate and the deliciousness coming from Belgium and other areas. So awesome.
In terms of what you're doing here in terms of the biotech angle to Choco production there, as you said at our event just a couple of weeks ago at the World Confectionery Conference, there's a real educational purpose to what you're trying to do to get people to understand your alternate option of cocoa production. So has that message got across this week?
Look, everybody knows the challenge, right? Every person I'm walking the hall and I'm speaking about how you're being affected by the crisis over the last year, everybody understands it. And the second thing that I'm hearing about is that they're all saying we have to eat the margin. We cannot pass it on to the consumer. The consumer is expecting some price points for cocoa, for chocolate experiences. So therefore, who is eating it? The individual is going to be eating it, maybe some of the consumer, but also the manufacturers, the distributors. So across the value chain, everybody's thinking, okay, I want to have a quality product. I want to make sure that the customers are happy with the product that I'm giving them, but also thinking about price points. So the pain is felt in everyone in the booth I spoke with, and the openness it goes back to the fundamentals. Does it taste good? Does it cost the way that I can afford the product? And can you deliver enough for me to be able to satisfy my needs for this growing region? So again, the conversation has been really positive. We've spoken to some really big brands here, and really excited to be sharing the vision, and also but listening. A lot of listening has to happen first before talking.
And related to your own products there, it's very much a case that people have to understand what is the new field of science here. So you put that across at our show. How did you enjoy that experience a couple of weeks ago?
Look, the show is awesome, and I'm enjoying the show much more now than I did 3 weeks ago because I'm continuing the business conversations. So the show has started to me after the show was ending. The show is nice, but really, do I care about the show? I mean, what I care about is the relationship I'm building from the show. So it's the relationship that continuing from the show with the big corporates. That's what matters to me. So, am I enjoying the show? Look, it was great hanging out with you. It was great speaking to people. But the real value of this show is the relationship that continuing on for business like mine.
Absolutely, and sort of bringing us back to the deserts here in Dubai.
Boy,
yes,
the desert.
We
are in air conditioning right now, so just note.
So yeah, we're not in the.
Otherwise, I was looking up the melting point of chocolate, by the way.
Wow.
And the melting point of chocolate is 80 to 86. That's kind of where it starts going down.
That range?
It is definitely outside that range. So I'm telling you,
Wow.
If we bring our product down, I'll give it about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't get long, but yeah, I mean, this year it has had a very much expanded program of both the education side of things and also the number of exhibitors, over 550 this year.
Wow.
Has that really reflected in your visitor experience? Do you think it's felt like there's a real buzz around the place?
Well, I'll tell you, there was 2 conferences happening at the same time. One was the Gold Food Green, which is focusing more on startups and the food industry, and then chocolate. And what was shocking to me is that, which one was much bigger?
Oh, I'm not going to say.
Definitely the sweets one was about 10 times bigger. So what I was shocked by again is that I spoke to somebody here and I said, how are people interested in chocolate here? I said, our kids want chocolate, and as the region is becoming more wealthy and more exposed to Western ideas, brands, the kids are growing up saying, look, the fruit is wonderful, the baklava is great, but we want M&Ms, we want Snickers. Again, what we're seeing and the reflection of that desire is how big the show is. So I was very pleasantly surprised.
And just coming on to trends, because that's what everybody wants to know about. What have you noted that's really stood out from your perspective?
So look, when I'm still figuring this out, but I'm going back to the considerable trends. Portioning, individual portioning is very, very interesting. So again, the snackability of the product is fascinating. The second thing is, I've spoken to several brands here. As the price points increasing on the cocoa butter and cocoa market, what people are doing is they're switching more to compound chocolate. So I expect a parallel growth to middle and lower tier products, pushing cocoa butter to the side and using fats like hydrated oils and shea butter and palm oil as a replacement. So what I think we're going to see is actually the cocoa market having to have some existential questions around what's going to be the future of cocoa butter with the pricing the way it is.
Linked to that, you've obviously been having these conversations over the past few days here. One of the things that emerged in the conference the other day was we had Haribo speaking there, Kadesh Kades of Haribo here in the region, and he was saying that there's a very young demographic here in the mid-20s, so they're a lot more tech savvy than perhaps some old generations are, and may well be more open to more biotech type businesses like yourselves and what you're trying to do. Do you sense that from the conversations you've had this week?
Look, I want to go to the fundamentals. I think with chocolate, it comes back to price and taste and quality. If we can meet those essentials, the consumers want the emotional experience of chocolate. If we can give it to them, they're going to, of course, engage with it. Right? What we believe is we're saving chocolate for the next 10 years, right? Because as this demand grows in these regions and the population is growing, the question is going to be, is there going to be enough supply to meet that demand? That's one. Who's going to be able to afford that with those younger generations, with their income level? That's another question mark. So if bottom line is you meet on taste, price point, experience, I think that the consumer will be very, very open. It's not about just a question of age, it's a question really about necessity. The industry needs solutions, because when I'm in that room, everybody's feeling the pain.
Thank you for those reflections. And just as a last point here, on a fun note, we're here to celebrate confectionery over the past 3 days here, and speaking to some of the UK pavilion here, it seems that it's going to be even bigger next year, a third bigger again. So do you think it's accomplished its mission of trying to really drive interest in confectionery for MENA and the wider world?
It speaks for itself. The people in this room know there's business to be done, and that's why they're here. That's why I'm here. So it's very exciting, and definitely what I imagine is going to happen is the government is a really interesting fact in the UAE as well, right? And what is the vision of the government and the way they're going to set up a food system is really fascinating to me. Again, there is a local production of chocolates, but primarily it's being introduced, imported. It's question mark. It's going to be very interesting if the local region wants to set up their own infrastructure to be able to develop chocolates.
Well, thank you so much, Alex Shandrovsky. Great to see you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.